Welcome to the Where's Brunch podcast, episode 11.
Hello, people everywhere. Hello. I've been watching The Crown. Is that what the Crown
Oh,
does?
man.
Hello. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm better.
Yeah, better.
I'm better.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on. It's always a lot of stuff going on, but
I know.
there's a lot of different stuff going on.
Absolutely.
You know, that's good to hear, though. I'm glad you look good. Happy to see you.
Thank you. Happy to see you too.
We
I
are.
haven't seen you in like a whole 24 hours.
This is about 24 hours, huh? Almost. We this is our last pod together as not living together, right?
Holy smack! It's that. Oh man, it is.
Isn't
huh?
it? This is the last one.
We're gonna take a break until we move.
We're gonna take a break. This to announce it. This to announce right now. Please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, share, all those good things. And how do you say? What do you want them to do on the streaming platform? Rate us and all that kind of good.
Give us a rating. Give us some stars. If you're on iTunes, you can rate the podcast. You can even leave a comment about us. Spotify, I'm not sure. Can you rate on Spotify?
I don't know, maybe so. I need to dive into those.
Okay,
all
I
those
definitely have
platforms
rated. You can rate the episodes and you can rate the podcast as a whole on iTunes.
I think we have like a crowd of people who listen, then we have a crowd of people who watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
well, please comment and like and share on YouTube
yeah,
as
man,
well.
do all that stuff.
Because the more commenting and the more views and you watch the whole thing, the more screen view time we get.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
All that,
man.
and it kind of pumps us up and
Pump it.
Gets us more exposure.
If you're gonna be part of the brunch crew, be part of the brunch crew, yo. Yeah. We're getting this together.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's good, man. So yeah, there's that.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
yes, we are moving. So there's gonna be major transition.
Major. My therapist and I were talking about it today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're staying in this building, which is where I live.
Booyah.
In a bigger space. So it'll be different. So we have to get in there and then build up the pod space. I don't know exactly when that's gonna happen.
I don't either.
We have to find some, we got to find our decoration and, chairs
Find
or a
the
sofa
vibe.
or something. The vibe. Yeah, the vibe.
The vibe of the room.
So things are going to look different, though.
Very.
That is one reality.
We're gonna zhuzh it up.
I'm going to zhuzh it.
I like to zhuzh it up.
But yeah, let's cheers it.
Let's cheers
Cheers
to that.
Cheers to
Last
us.
episode in the suite in club. We won't say the number.
No, this is a lounge. Yeah,
Lounge.
right. Yeah.
We won't say the lounge number. This
Won't
is
say
the
lounge
last
number.
This is the last episode in the lounge.
The lounge number.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it, though.
As am I. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see how this all goes, because we are technically still newlyweds, aren't we?
Yeah, right. You need to bring that damn dog over here.
Hey, Beans.
Mm-hmm.
That's your buddy.
Beans, if you watching this, I will kick you in the back of the head. Son, you barking
You
during my
better
pod.
not kick my baby. You better leave my baby alone. You know he loves you. He looks. I feel like he's more of a fan of yours than he is of mine. You come around and he's just like,
It's like when
do it again.
right.
Do it again.
Rough housing and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we are, packing and
Oh my god.
getting rid of things, selling things. So we don't have our usual setup. There's no table here anymore because I sold it.
Table's gone.
For those watching on YouTube, for the listeners, it's the same pretty much.
Oh man.
But for the YouTube folks, I have no table here now.
It's so crazy. But this works. This setup totally works.
I mean, I was laying on the floor today. I ain't gonna front.
Oh my gosh.
No, my carpet is pretty comfortable.
Oh yes, it is.
Yeah.
I've passed out there after a workout or a walk myself, so I know.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And I think we're selling your couch tomorrow.
My couch is leaving tomorrow. The gentleman is coming at 11 to get the couch.
Where we gonna sit for Thanksgiving? I had to bring one of my metal folding chairs.
That's a good
I might.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
So crazy. Like 2 weeks. We literally got 2 weeks.
We have less than 2 weeks now.
Less
We are
than 2
within
weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from yesterday.
So the furniture's got to go.
It's a wrap.
The big items that we both agree we were going to start anew and start fresh.
Yes.
In our new space. So my stuff had to go. Your stuff had to go.
The blue leather
lounge couch.
Bachelor sofa for the person who never used it as a bachelor sofa.
Yeah, this thing getting no bachelor miles.
He ain't getting no bachelor miles, yo.
0 bachelor
This whole
miles.
space was wait, I might have just moved into one of those old style, country style apartments. You know what I'm saying? Garden style, with the carpet and all that.
Why?
I'm just
You got to
messing.
have your city living. You just had a girlfriend the whole time.
Yeah, the whole damn time.
The
huh?
whole time.
I was like, oh, yo, yeah, this place, I like this place. I wonder how close it is to y'all. He was like 12 minutes.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm going to look and see how far is it from me. 12 minutes. It's like 1.5 exits from my house.
12 minutes.
12 minutes. You can't even really get a good 2 songs in on the drive.
You always
The
say
2
that. You've been saying the same thing. 2 songs.
Because
you can't get a good 2 songs.
You can't
in.
get a good 2 songs in. I'm telling you. I was listening to Jagger in the Dagger.
Jagger the Dagger.
And that song, I think it's about 5 minutes.
It's a long song.
It's about 5 minutes long. So by the time I got to my place, it was like, well, I didn't listen to
It
nothing
just started
else.
back over. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a Tribe Called Quest sample.
Yeah.
To let y'all know.
It's quite a trippy song, ladies and gentlemen, and I really like it. It's taking me to a place. I don't know, maybe my former body experienced this song in another way at another time.
My wife knows more samples than you do. To let you know that, son. I know how to pick them.
So yeah, Jagger the Dagger.
Jagger the Dagger, baby. Jagger the Dagger.
What's this by Mr. McDaniels?
So,
Yeah,
that's-
dope song.
Those songs. Speaking of music, the other day, I was very excited about a new release. And I'm like, yo, we was going somewhere. And I'm like, yo, let's throw this new Nas on. It's crazy. And you turned to me and said that you no longer wanted to be in a relationship with me.
Oh, shit. I did not say that to
Okay,
you.
all right. Well, you said you never got into Nas. And I was like, can you pass me some tissue so I can wipe these tears? I was so heartbroken.
The things you find out after the marriage.
After.
Yeah, there's certain things.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't
People
tell.
start biting their toenails. People got gas all the time. People don't listen to Nas.
Yes, I can be honest and say that the Nas wave kind of blew past me, and I don't really know how it happened.
No, you kind of explained it, and I get this because
okay.
I'm the same way with some things, so I'll equate to it. So you mentioned that all your girlfriends was like, "Ooh, Nas," right? And they like
Rubbing all on themselves. And
Yeah.
everybody. I even have a friend who named her child Nasir. Like, yeah.
And you just kind of, it is like one of those things where everybody's so into it, you just didn't want any parts of it. Is that what?
It didn't. I listened to Illmatic. I remember it being very, very dark and da 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 da. Like I
It's
remember,
very concrete and
it's
slice of
very-
pizza and rain type of feel.
I was raised on Long Island. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But no, because my girlfriends on Long Island loved him. I don't know what it was. It just passed me by. Like I love Big Daddy Kane. I love LL. I love KRS.
I mean, you picking from a different era.
And I love Rakim, and maybe that has something to do with it. But when you think about when you think about KRS, KRS was right.
No, KRS was 87.
Yeah, okay, and Nas is like, what was Nas?
Nas is on 94.
94.
I mean, his music came out before. Some music dropped before that, but his album was dropped in 94.
So that
Illmatic.
was when I was a freshman at Howard. And wasn't Biggie like right behind that?
Yeah, Biggie dropped his album in 95.
Well, what came out in 93? The Super Cat
93 is Wu-Tang.
Okay, no, but the Super Cat Biggie thing, Dolly, my baby, remember that?
That was before that. I think that was that before his album? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was like
Biggie's
right
album.
before. That was right before.
Yeah, it might have been before his album.
So I don't know what was happening for me. I remember the Fugees were happening.
Mobb Deep, and all
Mobb
them
Deep,
came
okay,
around
Shook Ones. I'm there with
Tribe
that.
Called Quest throughout all this.
Between all of that. So I don't know how, but it happened, and I never zoomed in or clicked in to Nas, and so I'm not one of those young ladies who can, spit every verse of his, stuff. I can't do it because I don't know. I mean, I know "Hate Me Now" and a couple of the hits. "If I Rule the World," I know the hits. But I'm not one of those catalog people who knows all of Nas's music. And so I don't know if this gets my black card revoked.
No, it doesn't. It's subjective.
It was just a time period. But it totally missed me. Because I feel like when that was happening, the Roots were happening at the same time, weren't they?
Roots was 92? The Roots?
Well, no.
First joint?
When I first got into them, it was when I was at Howard. So that was freshman year.
Man, that was a little bit later than
93.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I remember My Mellow Man. My Mellow Man, right?
Yeah.
My Mellow Man, huh? That song.
Yeah.
So that was then, too.
Yeah, Do You Want More was their first.
Yeah,
well, it wasn't technically their first album, but it was the first mainstream album.
So I feel like the Roots was during that time. Redman was during that time.
Redman was before Nas.
Yeah, I was
and still going.
I was a heavy Redman fan.
I dig it. I mean,
EPMD. I was an EPMD fan.
Come on, man.
And they kind of rolled through there.
Yeah, they were kind of like, kind of like plateauing around that time,
and
probably.
K Solo and Red and then Craig Mack and Keith and all the Long Island rappers that I keep naming it.
I see. Central Iceland.
I'm naming all these.
We get it, okay?
So maybe I'm a loyalist. Jeez. I don't know. But I don't know. But that's what happened. And I don't feel bad. I am a fan of his work. I'm a fan of his youthful face. Like, how does he stay so young looking, brother? He got to be vegan.
I doubt it, but you never know.
Okay,
I don't
maybe
know
he's
personally.
pescatarian. Right?
Maybe.
And then his ability, the ingenuity of him to transition into the tech world and get the money.
Yeah, he's a venture capitalist.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Restaurants, all type of stuff.
I'm
so
excited.
before we go all there,
Okay,
I mean,
sorry.
we can. No, don't be. Let's stick to the music, right? But now,
let's stick to the music.
I mean, yes, Nas is the businessman. I'm proud of him to where, as a hip hop, a person of the hip hop culture, I'm proud to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dudes in the game and women in the game that I'm proud to see what they're doing because it just helps expand the entire culture. So not to step on your point about what he's doing. So he deserves acknowledgement. But we talking about the music, and I'm definitely a Nas fanatic. Like, he is the number one MC of all time for me. Period. Nas. Easy.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Ever.
All. He's the number.
But what about the ones that came before him?
That's cool. I love KRS. I love Rakim. I love Kane. I love a lot of these dudes, Bismarck, all these dudes. But I'm telling you, for me, because music is completely subjective.
Yeah.
He is the number one MC. Notice what I'm saying. MC.
Okay.
Right? Rapper. Okay, we gotta. When you talk about rapper, you gotta talk about LL. You gotta talk about Jay-Z. You gotta talk about people who. And these people are arguably the best MCs too. They're in the conversation. But when you're talking about rappers, you're talking about selling records, you're talking about hits and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about as a poet, as an MC, Nas, number one for me.
So a master of ceremonies is what we're discussing here.
Yes.
So you don't look at LL as an MC? Is that
I do. No.
Okay.
That's what I just said.
Okay, so who are your top 5 MCs?
We get into a whole different discussion. Let's stay focused.
I know, but I got more questions.
I'm with it because I break it up. Right? People just say, "Who's the best ever? What are you talking about?
Okay.
Are you talking about selling records? Because as a rapper, participating in the music industry, you want to talk about who's the best rapper, you have to talk about Hove. You have to talk about Drake. You have to talk about certain people as rappers. That doesn't mean that they're not also MCs.
Okay, gotcha.
Hove is an MC through and through. You know what I mean? KRS is an MC through and through, of course. I mean, you know, so, but for me, my number one, Nas, when Illmatic came out, it hit my soul. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So, and from day one, I've been saying the same thing. Nas is the best. And that's been my point. And here we are, almost 30 years later?
Yeah.
Right? Almost 30 years later, because he came, I think, Live at the Barbecue might have been 92.
Okay.
He was Main Source.
Okay.
30 years later, he's still crisp. He's King's Disease 3. Gotta give this guy a round of applause, man.
I'll give it to you for that.
Gotta give this guy a round of applause. Making music at this level, this deep into the game.
Yeah.
Because remember, rap music had an age limit on it for a lot of years.
Yeah, because my favorite person doesn't do it anymore.
Rakim?
Yes.
Right. I mean, there's a lot that goes into why Rakim never came out with music. I think it has a lot to do with his personality. Because he had the skill, he had the ability, and he had some label issues. He burned a lot of time over there with Dr. Dre, and he never put music out. Yeah. But Rakim, I think it has a lot to do with the person. He could have came out with more, man. But neither here nor there. But Nas is a student of Rakim. He's a child of Rakim. They did the same thing. Rakim, when he came out, he changed rap music. He changed emceeing, the cadences, the things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it went from the Kumo D kind of hey, ho, hey, ho, hey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Rakim came out with, like, you know what I'm saying, boom, melody, check out my melody, slower flow, spitting, you know what I'm saying, weaving in and out of the beat. I mean, he changed all that. Yeah. And then Nas came out, and it was just like, it happened again. And he just set the pace. So that Illmatic album is considered by most people who talk about it is one of the greatest albums, top 3, top 5 greatest rap albums of all time. Yeah. It's a perfect album. There's no, you know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, it's all subjective. So, but I talk, when I talk about Nas, boom. But so yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on this dude's career because there's a lot of criticism about Nas.
But why?
People talk about he don't pick good beats. People talk about these different things or whatever. And it's like, look, like I said, like I keep saying, it's all subjective, right?
MS.
And he was never scared to experiment. You know what I'm saying? Throughout his career. And he got jewels. So some of his albums for some people that didn't hit back then, they hit better now. You know what I'm saying? So Nostradamus, one of them. Okay. Even I Am, you know what I'm saying? People talk differently about it now than they did back then.
I like that. The One Mic.
The One Mic was a great song. It still is a great song.
And the song he did with his dad.
Oh yeah,
That was
great.
That was dope.
That was great. Yes.
That was really
Love
dope.
that. So I'm gonna throw in a Nas story real quick.
Okay.
So
go for it.
I used to date this chick that used to go to Howard. Right? As you know.
He loves these Howard women.
Right. So it was a homecoming time. And we my boy Joe used to work at Up Against the Wall. So, we used to get our discount, get my Red Monkey jeans and all that dumb shit, expensive ass jeans, Echo t-shirts and all this other stuff. So it's like, yo, you know how at Up Against the Wall, they used to have like a DJ in there. It was just that central spot.
It was where the artists would come for homecoming and post up.
Yeah.
They would do photographs. They would do signings. They would do everything.
Everything. So me and Shorty went in there, right? So we went in and talked to Joe real quick, talked to Al, and Al used to run that location.
Oh my gosh, Al.
No, Al, yeah.
Skinny Al.
I don't remember how skinny he was, but it was Al, dark skin Al.
Al used to be on BET.
Maybe so. I don't remember.
Skinny tall?
No.
Oh,
Not
okay.
him. No, you think of somebody else.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was the manager of that store of the Up Against the Wall.
Wrong one.
So Nas is in there. Nas and AZ in there.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I talked to Joe and stuff. We move around a little bit, look around. So I'm at the front door talking to somebody, and she's like right next to me. Now look, and Nas locked eyes with Shorty from across the room. And look, I'm not the type to be on some riffraff or anything or jealous type like that.
Okay.
My whole thing is, if you got her, then take her. But of course that wasn't the case, you know what I'm saying? But it was just a funny moment. I was just like, and my boy Khalid said back in the day he had a policy. He was like, if I'm ever walking with my girl, and she locking eyes with some other dude while she with me, he's like, I'm gonna just stop walking and put my foot out. And she tripped and bust her teeth out. That's her problem.
Oh my gosh. So how did you handle that?
I ain't handle it. It was nothing to do. It was like, we walking out. That's it.
Did y'all laugh about it?
I never mentioned it. I never mentioned it to her, but it was
never mentioned it to her.
Nah, it was a small thing. It was a real quick thing, but it was just something that I noticed.
She went to Howard. She was probably thinking that could have been my moment.
Could have been her ticket.
That could have been
her way out. Well, she ain't know. Nas probably had just as much money as I probably had more money than Nas at that point.
She was thinking that was my moment. That was my way out.
Hilarious.
Wow, that's crazy. I won't tell any of my hip hop stories. No.
We ain't got time for that. My machine only lasts for so long. I got so much electricity in here. So yeah, man. King's Disease 3. Nas has released 4 albums in the past 2 years.
He's been busy.
King's Disease 1 through 3 with all these albums with Hit-Boy, the producer. And he has an album that he released between 2 and 3 called Magic, which everybody loves as well. Okay. So a lot of people say that he's put out 4 classics in the past 2 years. His catalog has been pumped up quite a bit based on these 4 albums. They are all masterpieces. Okay. Really great albums. You know, Brunch on Sundays, all that stuff. It's all on the joints. And here we are again with him at this age. Nas is 50, I believe, something like that, right? I think he's about there, 50. Yeah, 50, right? Yeah, right there. And
looking well preserved.
You know what I'm saying? Brother looking good. That's money to do that to you. It gets you exposed to different type of skin products.
Shit.
I need to get a second job so I can give me some skin products too. And it's just that the skill set is just, I don't know, man. It's a beautiful thing, man.
So my question about this, with all of these albums coming out now, was he sitting on them? Did he have them already?
No, they've been working the past 2 years.
2 years.
He was
4
at
albums. Is that norm? That's unprecedented.
It's unprecedented for anybody, and especially for this dude, because he does not work at this pace.
Yeah. So what's this about? Is he about to jump out the game and say, "All right, I'm out"?
I don't know. It's about
I'm retiring.
He's found his guy in Hit-Boy. Him and Hit-Boy, they mesh so well, and he drives him to let's pump this music out. Let's work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
I gotta look this Hit-Boy up. I gotta see what this is about. Now you're gonna make me do some research.
Hit-Boy got joints.
And listen.
Yeah.
To these albums, to these masterpieces.
Yeah, you gotta listen to these joints. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give it a shot.
I'll give him a shot. I don't know if I'm gonna be, I don't have a favorite rapper right now or MC right now.
But Rakim is your all-time favorite, though.
But Rakim, and you know why? You know how it said it hit you different when Rakim and all that stuff came out? I was like 10. Mm-hmm. That's hanging out in the
85?
House. 85. Yep. I was 9. That's hanging out in a neighborhood. That's the beat box, the boom box.
Yep.
The tape where you could play it. That's Red Alert. Premiering it on the radio when everybody is together. That's me playing the record, paid in full, over and over and over
and over
again. Like, those were the things. I was young, I was impressionable, and I was playing this stuff over and over and over again, and just listening to what he was saying and what he was talking about, and the mathematics that he was putting out. And maybe a 9-year-old shouldn't have been listening
Listen,
to
man.
it, and maybe it influenced me in ways that I will never fully understand. But
With knowledge of self, is nothing I can't solve. 360 degrees I
I
evolve. It's
evolve.
not a natural fact, but this is a fact and it's proven indeed as I proceed to make the crowd keep moving. Come on, yo. What am I supposed to do with that as a 10-year-old?
What do you do? And if you keep listening to it over and over again,
You're going to stop eating pork.
You're going to start doing saying some weird shit. You're going to start doing some
You're going to stop eating Jell-O.
Listen, you be outside with your friends standing there,
Yo,
So-
you're going to get a little militant.
You're going to get a little militant.
That
And
isn't that a perfect segue into our next topic?
I think that's where it all started. I was allowed to, to listen to that, and it was okay. It was okay. Go ahead. This whatever this rap stuff is.
Whatever this rap stuff is.
Whatever this rap stuff is. I remember hearing that a lot when I was little. But just that was, what I was listening to.
Shout out to Nas, man.
Shout out
Hit-Boy.
to Nas and Hit-Boy. And shout out to Rakim.
Of course, shout out to Rakim too, of course.
Yeah.
God MC. But yeah, that revolutionary that and that's a question that I don't know if it's the question that I had, but it's a discussion that we kind of sparked up a little bit recently about when did your awakening begin? When did you get that spark, that revolutionary spark? You know what I'm saying? It was on the heels of that that video that James sent me and Joe and I sent to you about the woman talking about her diet.
The diet.
And how they were
of
pumping crap into us and black folks specifically, and how she broke away from that. And I was like, the first part of the video is all revolutionary, and then she gets to the diet part. You're like, I love the revolutionary stuff, which I know, of course. I was just letting you know. And so it kind of sparked that, right? Like, when did you get that spark?
So it started very, very young. I grew up on Long Island when I was younger. I was born on Long Island, raised primarily by my grandparents. My grandfather, Richard, was born on the reservation on Long Island, the Shinnecock Tribe Reservation out east, and my grandmother. And the things that they told me and taught me at a very, very, very young age, probably grown-up conversations, information, all of those things, it really just started with my grandfather and I just chilling, and him just reading the paper, passing me the paper.
And you were how old?
Probably like 5 or 6. And him talking to me about politics, him talking to me about the elections, local elections happening in the neighborhood. There was a judge. There was a black judge. I can't remember his name. Crap. I'm going to lose it, and I'd have to call my aunt and ask her. But there was a judge. There was a family that was prominent. That he was African-American. He was a judge, and he was running. And we were talking about the implications of a black man being the county judge or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then he
was talking to you about heavy stuff early.
Very early on.
When you start talking about implications.
Yeah, what that meant.
Yeah. What does that even mean to a child?
To me. And he would talk to me about, how he grew up. And from them being born on the reservation, but moving inwards to Queens, New York. And moving around New York and things that they endured by being fair-skinned blacks and not really being able to tell, and paper bag tests happening in New York. And things like that, and elections and voting and discrimination and things that he experienced. He talked about his time in the war and going overseas and what happened and what propaganda he saw about blacks over there and how that made him feel and coming back. And that was kind of where it all started.
Right.
It's like the book Black Power. I'm pretty sure he gave me that book to read
As a child.
as a child.
Yeah.
And so it started there with just, you sitting with your grandfather who's retired
Right.
home and just talking.
He
to
got
you.
time.
He had time. I remember the stuff with Ed Koch and stuff going on with him and his election, then people not being satisfied with Ed Koch and the things that he was doing, and conversations that my grandfather would have. He would pull out the daily news or the news day, and we would talk about it. And so that was where my awakening and my awareness to Black issues and Black causes and the plight of a Black man, and I learned about redlining from my grandfather
Early on.
as to how he came into owning that house
Wow.
that he had in Amityville. He talked to me about the process.
Did he have to go a roundabout way to get it? Due to redlining?
No, because of redlining, that was the only place he could
That's
buy.
the only place he can get. Gotcha. I understand that.
That was the only place. And
I didn't know if it was in a place where where he quote unquote shouldn't have been, or
that's where they put. That's
right.
where they put MB. He was a veteran. He had come home. He had his VA, all that kind of stuff, and that was where they were putting Blacks
right.
in that neighborhood over there. That's where they could buy houses.
Mine didn't come till later on, and the spirit was there because of hip hop. I think that what the first, excuse me, the earliest moment of awakening that I remember is my parents had this Bible in the house, and it was a white Bible, a big one too, and it had like pictures and stuff in it or something to that degree. And there was that blue-eyed blonde Jesus. Yeah. And I was like, as a child, I was like, this don't make no sense. Yeah. I just didn't believe it. And I think that point, I just didn't believe it. I wasn't believing none of that. And so you group that up with the churches in Rochester. I remember as a kid, we didn't go to church and stuff. I didn't grow up in a religious family. But I remember driving around with my parents in the back of the car, and I just observed the preachers with the big Cadillacs and stuff, and everybody else is poor. I observed that. I don't know how I remember that. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, so I was just like, "Yo, that's kind of crazy." Like, I didn't really understand it, like why it was crazy. It just felt crazy to me. And then what really set me on my path is I got my hands on autobiography of Malcolm X when I was in high school.
Wow.
And then when I read that, and then, by the time I graduated school, you look at my yearbook right now, I got a Farrakhan quote in there and all kind of nonsense. I was like, nah. And then so you group that with hip hop, X-Clan, PE. You know what I'm saying? Public Enemy.
PE was very, very, very influential.
Listen.
Very early on for me. And it was very easy because it was on the radio.
And they're from Long Island.
And they're from Long Island. It was on the radio.
It was on the radio for y'all. It wasn't on the radio for me.
Oh.
I'm from Rochester. It wasn't on the radio up there.
My dad's younger sisters were teens at that time. So they were playing the college radio that at night, like, when I was spending the night at my other grandparents' house, I would hear that.
College radio, yes,
college
but
radio,
not on regular radio. Okay, I thought you meant regular radio.
No, and then it was still on. It was on the radio too when it got bigger. When they finally, like, Terminator.
Yeah.
That song.
Probably yeah.
When that blew up.
And then what's the name of the soundtrack? 1989, the number. Thing. Yeah. Another summer. That was everywhere.
That was everywhere. Absolutely. But for people like, for the microcosm of Long Island and college radio, it was very easy to get access to Chuck D and what he was doing. And
that makes sense.
He was an activist a student activist for a very long time. And then he just blew up,
Yeah.
He's a great source of history, a historian of hip hop
Yeah.
and the movement and all that kind of stuff.
Should be, man. I mean, that sparked us though.
Yeah.
That if that didn't put a spark in you, nothing would. You know, as the youth coming up during those times, it gave you a sense of awareness.
Very impressionable ages that we were.
Yeah, purpose.
Yes.
Courage.
Yeah.
Because they were doing it. They were, you know, Flavor Flav looked in the screen and said, "Motherfuck him and John Wayne." My parents was like, "Whoa!"
Most of my heroes ain't appear on those stamps. You know,
number of rednecks for 400 years. If you check, our white fans, we love y'all too.
We love y'all, but this is how we grew up. So, there was this thing, and again, my aunts were in their teens. They were in high school when I was little. So and my uncles were older; they're in their 20s. So I was able to be around that group as well.
Yeah,
and hear, and listen and be influenced. So that was pretty much where there was a definite sense of pride, a sense of Black awareness of the struggles. I didn't really have the slavery ancestor trodden kind of, our family came from the plantation of blah blah blah. I didn't have that.
Me either.
I didn't have any of that.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't have not a single.
And you had the Native American background in your family, and you guys lived there.
Yeah.
So I know that was probably
so I didn't
really
get
heavy.
that, Heather. Long Island is a very there's a large indigenous peoples tribe of the Shinnecock Reservation, which is out by the Hamptons, used to be way larger, and it was lost to many things. The land was stolen. They shifted lines. They redistrict. They did a lot of things to take the land back away from the tribes that were living out there. To now, they're on a square footage of like 1.6 miles, and 600 people only live out there now in that space, in that protected space. But it's supposed to be so much larger, but it's prime real estate.
Yeah.
CNBC did like a huge piece on it, and there's a lot of people protesting about protecting the area and the history.
Yo, save some of this. We got to talk about this in depth on an episode.
Okay,
this is good.
Well, there's a huge.
It's so much, and you're so knowledgeable about it too.
Yeah, good. And the history of former slaves intermarrying with indigenous people. So that whole joke about you got Indian in your family because
my wife really got Indian in her family.
There's Black that the Shinnecock tribe basically identifies as
right,
men of color.
What was that? What was that noise just now?
I don't know. What was that?
Oh, I still got music playing on that.
Playing in the background.
We're about to call one of my revolutionary friends.
Who we calling?
And, we're gonna call Joe up.
Calling Brother Joe.
I'm curious about when Joe first got a spark.
Oh, this will be fun.
You know what I'm saying? Let's call Joe.
Let's
see what Joe talking about.
Hello?
Yo, Joey. This is Brocky and Trina from the Where's Brunch podcast. Brother, was good.
Well, hello.
What it do, people?
We're having a conversation about when we first, our earliest memories of us having the spark, the revolutionary spark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The sense of awareness. When did that show up in our lives?
Yeah.
Before some of us, before hip hop and whatnot, but hip hop, of course, added. This is how we got to this, like talking about Nas, Rakim. Then we got into the Public Enemy a little bit, and then it's like that revolutionary spark happened at some point. For me, it was early memories of seeing a Bible with the white blue-eyed Jesus in there, and that kind of made me just say no. And then for Trina,
it was my grandfather who would sit and talk to me about grown stuff that probably he shouldn't have been talking to me about. Elections. He was talking to me about the impact of a Black judge that was being voted for on Long Island when I was younger.
The implications is what he said.
Implications of what that meant with this gentleman being elected and the folks coming out to vote for him and all of that.
And you were like, how old?
It was like 5, 6.
When you start talking about implications to a 5-year-old, you gotta spend time explaining what implications mean.
You gotta sit in that for a little bit.
So what's your earliest memory, yo? Of when you kind of, I know, Mama Sampson was, into like social work, you know what I'm saying. But what's your earliest memory of getting that spark, that revolutionary spark?
I'll be honest, man. I don't think it really happened. It really kicked in until probably after the girls were born, right? So we talking, almost 20. My oldest Kennedy's 22, should be 22. So somewhere around there. And I think, like when I was younger, I just didn't recognize what was happening around, So my mom. Like you said, my mom did a lot, and in the city of Philadelphia, she did a lot in terms of community service. And her whole life's work was championing the rights for especially young adults in schools, starting clinics for pregnant teens and things like that, right? And so I saw that through the lens of my mom as just an incredible person.
Yeah.
Not through the lens of there are these societal issues that my mom was trying to break. I just know she was always trying to fight for the little person. I just didn't know what that was or recognize what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, I think there was just this moment where I was just kind of like I felt like I wanted to get involved in the community. I didn't really know how I wanted to get involved or what I wanted to do, but I just wanted to get involved. And then I had looked at some fraternities and I was like, I ain't no frat dude, man. That's not
right.
me. You know what I mean? I looked into like 100 Concerned Black Men and then realized that out here, because we were in DC area, they do a lot of throwing of parties. They didn't really do a lot of boots on the ground stuff.
Right.
And so, then me and our homie Shaka started having this conversation at a barbershop, and that just kind of, that kind of led from one thing to another. And then, we would have our conversations when we were younger, but
it was different.
We would talk. It was different. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really lead me to action, and it was kind of, the sitting on the stoops just building type thing.
Yep.
So I think it wasn't until I was older, and funny enough, I had a conversation with my mom, and she was like, "You need to wait until the girls get older, because if you're going to be out here in the street fighting for something, you can't be fighting for something for someone else, and your kids need what you're trying to get for somebody else."
Yep.
Right. And so I pushed that off for a little bit, and then at that point, just kind of jumped in. So I'll be honest to say my Damascus moment happened much later in life but there were a lot of things around me that it should have happened earlier. I think I just wasn't completely aware of it, the context of it at the time.
Did this guy just say Damascus moment?
Yeah, he said Damascus
moment. I'm doing pretty good as far as geniuses go.
This guy's smart.
Yeah.
Yo, that's interesting, man. I learn new things about my friends all the time, and it makes a lot of sense because if you look at your enthusiasm for it now. Oh, there's somebody in the background over there. If you look at your enthusiasm now, with what you're doing, it kind of makes sense that spark came a little bit later in life. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's like becoming Muslim. People who've been Muslim their entire lives kind of take it for granted sometimes. The newcomers be like, yo, we got to go to the mosque right now. You got to
Exactly.
That's dope though.
Yeah. So Joe, let me ask you this. So one of the things I remember when I was younger was my grandfather talking to me about the NAACP. And it kind of did trickle down to my aunts and their activism in the community. And my aunt was very big in the Atlanta chapter for AXO and the youth empowerment piece for that. And that's why I wound up doing AXO in high school and going to Indianapolis and doing the convention and all that stuff. So do you feel like this generation, what'd you say?
No, go ahead.
I said, do you feel like this generation even is aware of the activism that is available to them? I mean, I know we had the COVID George Floyd incidents, but from my grandfather's generation, the NAACP was like the way to go for them. I mean, I did have some other sides of my family that did the Southern Christian leadership stuff, but do you feel like this generation has that sort of thing to look to for guidance and for activism?
So I'll say that's a loaded question, right? There's a couple of different answers to it, right? The first answer is some of that, the blame. Hang on for 1 second. Sorry.
This guy's probably in the middle of
a meeting.
He marching, probably marching on.
Right now.
He marching on Washington right now. You trying to have a call in the pockets, boy? This guy over here at the Capitol building. We ain't storming though.
Sorry. I'm in Home Depot.
Oh, okay.
No. So the some of that the NAACP is to blame for, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you look at the history of the organization, that at one time they were the premier organization in terms of what they were doing on the ground nationally, right? And so the NAACP is two different entities today. Mm. However, most people, because of what happened in the 80s and the way the world was moving, a lot of people lost faith in the NAACP, and rightfully so. Yeah. Right. And so they did it to themselves. I'll be completely honest about it. It wasn't anything that have a going up. It wasn't anything that society moved past it. So what the NAACP ended up doing was just going through that time of people not trusting them, right? You had people feeling like they weren't relevant anymore. Mm-hmm. African Americans in the country had started to amass more, getting to white spaces, feeling accepted, whether they were or not. They were feeling that way. So there was this thing like, do we even need them anymore? Mm. And so what ends up happening is they started to lose some of their chutzpah. Mm-hmm. And then they had a lot of controversy within, right? Money, all of the other stuff. Yeah. And then the 90s happened and it felt like they weren't doing anything. But the reality was local branches have always been doing a lot of the work. Right. And so the NAACP is suffering from a lack of rebranding. Oh. Right. And so what happens is everyone, when they say the NAACP, they think of the national branch, right? The national NAACP, the people that they see on TV whenever something happens, the letters that they get. Right. However, the local chapters are usually the ones doing all of the work. They're the ones who sit down with your, school superintendent. They're the ones who sit down with your county commissioners or your city elected officials, your sheriffs, all those things. And if they're a decent branch, they do that without anyone knowing. Right. So then they tend to move like the black hand, where as long as everything seems okay for you out there, you don't realize how many meetings I had cussing out the sheriff every day. Right. And Brocky will tell you, because a lot of times I would leave those meetings and call him and be like, going off. Right. I mean, I spoke at something literally 2 nights ago because there was a teacher who was taking pictures with Confederate flags, failing black students, and putting up Nazi signs on her social media. Wow. Right? Mm-hmm. And so...
In this day, in 2022, come on.
Literally Tuesday night, I spoke with the school board about it. Like, these things happen. And so young people, I think, I get it. Right? They feel like... And it's not just young people. It's our generation, too. Everyone feels like, you know what, I can do it myself. So I can gather these people, I can start my own organization, and I can get it done. Yeah. And I don't knock that. I like that. What I don't understand, and sometimes being in the space don't always appreciate, is that when you get there and you find out, and I'll say we in this space as a vice president of NAACP branch, you find out we're there, you don't change your tune. Right. Right. So you don't say, oh, wait, you know what? Y'all have been doing this for 4 or 5 years. How can we help? Or how can we work together? You don't do that. You you speak loud about that the NAACP ain't doing nothing. Then when you get to these spaces and you find out we have, you never come back and say, hey, you know what? They actually were there.
Right.
Right. So I think it depends on, I'm saying all that to say, it depends on the person's level of involvement that they want to have, is how it usually ends up them joining any organization. And the NAACP is just one, right? You've got a number of different social justice organizations that are working, that are doing things. There's a lot of bureaucracy with it. I'm not going to lie about that.
Absolutely.
Right? But you don't have to worry about it at the local level.
Right.
Because I'm here to do the work. I'm not here. I don't care nothing about what National's doing or anything like that. National's not coming down here about that teacher. National's not coming down here about my sheriff not hiring any women or blacks. National's not coming down here for that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Good stuff, man.
So it just depends on what they want to do.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. Totally.
Makes sense. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the, you know what I'm saying?
We appreciate it. We still got to chop it up about Axo, Joe. We do one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Axel's an incredible situation. See, you about to have me out here doing commercials.
Whoa.
Let me let y'all go.
This ain't the Million Man March. Y'all need to relax a little bit, yo. I'm trying to have some fun. We got some laughs.
Absolutely. I'm out of the way, man.
Yo, Joe, good looking out, son. Good hearing from you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Good stuff, Joe.
Thanks,
Joey
Joe.
Crack. That dude, Joey. Good work out there, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll
Appreciate y'all, man.
Peace.
All right, later.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Joe always, you know what I'm saying?
And it makes me think, like, I feel like, I'm trying to think. I can't remember when I got my NAACP youth card. I want to say it was a result of something at church, maybe, or was it something at school? I don't know. I can't remember, but I know that, like, my grandfather passed away when I was in the 6th grade, I think, and it was a huge void for me. He was my person to always talk about every election.
Yeah.
And because of him, I'm sure that's why I majored in political science.
Yeah.
And that's why my focus was.
He groomed you.
That's why my focus was electoral politics.
Dope.
And that's why I interned at the National Coalition of Civic Voter Participation.
Look at you.
And it was a great experience for me to learn and to see things on the ground really happening. And it furthered my awakeness of things. It exposed me to way more than I cared to be exposed to. And it definitely made me turn away from it. But it's still in my heart. And every election night, except for this past one, I didn't. I used to, like, get little sheets with the United States, with all the states. And my kids and I would stay up and we would color in the states as they go, which color they went, red or blue, and we would go through it and all that.
I'm pretty sure there's an app or something that you can do that now.
I know, but it was the teacher.
no doubt.
The teacher and me, we did that, and we would talk about it. And my girls still watch the elections, even now that they're in college, and they call me and like, "Mom, did you see?" And you know, and it's just something. And I think that the early on part with my grandfather and us talking about Koch and even when Dinkins ran and all of those things influenced my life up to now, where I'm still very much aware, and my career shifted and I didn't stay in politics or do elections like I thought I would, but it definitely shaped my life and how I look at the world.
I just once I got to DC, you know, back when it was Chocolate City for real, it's like I just went crazy with it. And going up Georgia Avenue, remember the house? What was it, House of Pyramid?
Yeah. Oh.
Remember the House of Pyramid?
Yeah.
I used to go to the House of Pyramid,
Really?
Get books.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like
House of Pyramid.
Back then, book after book after book after book.
Sankofa books was further up.
Oh, on the same side?
On the same side, but right across from the school would be Sankofa open.
Okay,
right
yeah. You know, I knew my spot, House of Pyramid. I would just go there. You know what I mean? And just
many books. Shout out books, because do people still buy books now?
I don't know. There's so many different ways to consume
I know you can do audio.
Yeah.
But going to bookstores like that, I mean, my aunt in Atlanta would take me to bookstores in Atlanta. They had tons of bookstores like Pyramid down there. I mean, I had so many books. I remember reading Why We Can't Wait by Martin Luther King, and I was just kind of like on the fence about it.
Right.
Because I had already read Black Power. Like maybe I went out of order. Like maybe I should have read Martin first and then read Black Power.
Right.
Because then I wouldn't have been so like, nah, Martin, I ain't feeling this.
Right.
Like this ain't gonna do it. You know, so I don't know. But those type of old paperback books, like
Yeah,
you
that was my
know,
thing.
The autobiography of Malcolm X, all of those kind of thick paperback
Shoot,
books.
I got a pale white horse, and then Francis Cress what was her name? The black woman. I can't remember the book that she had. I really have to look it up, but her book really set me on a whole other thing. She was talking about all the symbolism of like the Washington Monument and all these different things. It was a heavy joint.
What else? Pan-Africanism by Ron Walters, professor, Howard University, my former boss when I was a student.
Indeed.
What else? The history of colonization or something. I read that. White Skin, Black Mask.
The ISIS Papers.
The ISIS Papers.
The ISIS
Wow.
Papers. That one right there.
Yeah.
When I read that book, I was like, I'm not here for the bullshit.
Wow. Did you read any of Marcus Garvey's stuff?
Yup.
Yeah.
I sure did.
You know they're about to do a movie.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that.
I hope they do it good.
We gotta check that Emmett Till joint too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't go see that.
No, we didn't. No, I didn't even.
Man, good discussion though.
Great discussion. Now everybody will be thinking that we're starting a revolution.
It's a revolutionary podcast.
Oh, where's Brian?
Listen, we here for fun, but you know what I'm saying? There's more to life than just having fun. There's more than life than just, you know what I'm saying, the revolution too.
Yeah, absolutely. Just our foundations, you know, and I guess why we mesh so well together.
Yeah, it works.
It totally works.
One of the many reasons.
One of the million gazillion reasons. When did you figure out that I was how I was? What did I say? What did I do?
The revolutionary spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, just when certain topics come up, you don't shy away. You dive in.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have input to certain things, not that I'm the most, educated brother in the damn world, you know what I mean? But when certain topics come up, even when we're around the brunch crew and we're, certain topics come up, you're contributing. You're not just quiet and just kind of like letting the boys have their talk. You jumping in there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, she with the shits.
Shout out to Dr. Malvo. Shout out to Julianne Malvo.
Yeah, she with the shits. Now, I'm not Joe's a different. We all have our different ways of doing things.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? My thing, I like to find an organization who's actually doing things for whatever the cause might be, and not just the black cause, but just like I like helping the kids, and then I'll go raise money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm good at that. I'm good at raising money, and boom, let's give it to these people who I know are doing things. That's my style of giving back and trying to do something. Whereas Joe wants to go talk to those political leaders and stuff and be in their faces and asking them the hard questions. We need that. We need all these different ways. You know what I mean?
Nothing's gonna get better because unless you are actually there. I mean, do you see the kids who are coming to school board meetings around the United States as of recent, because the attacks on the school board superintendents or the school districts have been so crazy the last 5 years,
right,
since the turns of presidencies and questions about education and critical race theory and all these things, and to see kids coming up and speaking to the school boards and giving their,
you start hearing from the youth.
Yeah. It's
you gotta
amazing.
listen.
You gotta listen. These are the ones that are directly being impacted by the laws and the policies that they're putting out in the school districts. You gotta listen to them.
You can't hide from them because everything you say and do is on the internet.
Yeah.
So if you try to hit them with the bullshit, they're like, "That's some bullshit."
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, man. So but yeah, this is a good pod. I mean, I know you're not feeling well, and I'm exhausted. You're better, but I appreciate you pushing through the lights, camera, action.
Hey.
And I'm exhausted. I did not sleep well last night.
Sorry.
But you know how it goes, man. You know, once you hit record, baby, that red light show up. It's go time.
Yeah, gotta go.
My last meeting at work today, I was like, as soon as it ended, I slammed the hell out of my laptop.
Man.
I'm out.
Man.
And so I'm looking forward to getting rest tonight because we have Whiskey Washback tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, tomorrow is Whiskey Washback. Holy crap.
Whiskey Festival tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
We record on Thursdays. Whiskey Washback is this Friday, November 18th.
Ladies.
Washington, D.C.
Ladies and gentlemen, and be prepared. Whiskey Trina.
Whiskey Trina.
Is coming back.
We was lit last year. We got to get up there early. We got the early VIP.
Okay. What time we got to be there?
Creators pass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We get to go in at 5:30. It doesn't start till 6. We get to go in at 5:30.
Yeah.
So we can be twisted watching everybody walk in.
Yeah.
A lot can happen. A lot can happen in 30 minutes.
Right.
Make sure you hydrate tomorrow.
Oh yes, tonight starting. I guess.
Starting tonight.
Yeah, I need an IV.
I think we'll catch a lift over there tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
And so we don't have to worry about anything. And we should be good to go, man.
It's gonna be fun.
So,
I'm excited.
Excuse me. Guys, we're gonna be out for a couple weeks. As Trina will say, if you made it to the end of the pod, you're hearing this, but we kind of talked about this in the beginning as well.
Yes.
We are taking a break for 2 weeks. Next week is Thanksgiving.
Yes.
The week after that, we're moving.
We're moving, y'all. We're gonna be under one roof. He's never gonna be able to get rid of me now.
We're gonna get more content now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking forward to that.
Be prepared.
You know my ideas. You know them ideas be popping in my head. We're gonna be shooting them shits.
Ooh.
So we will see you guys back
in a couple
December
weeks.
8th, 9th, 10th. December 10th, I believe.
Okay.
It's a Saturday. I think it was the 7th is a Wednesday.
Okay.
And anything else to have for the people?
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow. Where's Brunch Podcast?
Next time you see us, we'll have fancy flutes because she's bringing on her glasses.
Oh, yes, honey. We will be drinking out the premium stuff, okay?
Oh, God.
We are going to be drinking out the good stuff. We're going to have a good bottle.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to have something over the top because, we was drinking some good stuff the other day.
Yeah, listen, I could have bought some higher end stuff today, but it's for the pod.
No, it's for the pod. But we're going to celebrate the new space.
Yeah.
We're going to celebrate the kickoff of the new space.
Okay, I guess we just came up with a plan just now. That's something we talked about, but I'm with it. You need to put your little hand out. You got your the black woman delegation wrist thing going on right now.
It's gonna be so much fun. Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be a good time, yo.
I'm excited.
Yo, y'all be good out there, man.
Yes, and have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Eat some good food.
Yeah.
Cook some good food.
Yeah.
Bring them kids in the kitchen. Teach them some things so they know how to carry on the traditions later.
Hey.
Yes.
Beyond YouTube, huh?
Beyond YouTube.
Don't let them just learn everything from YouTube.
TikTok.
Yo, y'all be good, man. We out.
Good night.